So we had two choices. One was a full view like this, and everything would be small when I open the box, or I can explain it now and I'll just get a close-up view of what's going on here. So I think that's probably the way we're going to go. So hang loose and we'll be right there. Alright, so here's the box. I want to bring this stuff out and bring it up on top here so you can see it. Kind of lift up what you can't see. Kind of, I don't have the lenses I need, so I can't quite get the dual thing, and I don't have the room. I need one of those boom jobbers, but that's not going to happen. So here we go. First we get the razor blade and try not to cut ourselves. So we'll leave the package on there. Alright, within these wine kits, depending on what it is, you have different ingredients. So this one here has some oak chips. And this again is for the Pinot Grigio, I think it is. So you got your oak chips that you put in there at a certain time. And then you have your other ingredients. Alright, so one of the first things you do is you'll put the juice in a fermenter, and then you put in the yeast. And what the yeast will do is activate and start eating up the sugars and converting it to alcohol. So that's what makes your wine really cool. No alcohol, no good. So when you're all done with all that, you have your metabisulfate helps stop the fermenting process. So you'll use that at that particular time. Then potassium metabisulfate, kind of along the same line. You'll use that. So they provide all this stuff. And then what do you have here? We have yeast nutrient. So at some point, a lot of times your yeast will run out. It just kind of deactivates or has used its useful life. So you throw in this yeast nutrient, and it kicks off the yeast again to finish up eating up more of the sugars and converting to more alcohol and flavor. When you're all done, these two things here, shoot, I got my glasses on, little teeny tiny writing. This is Kesenol, I can't say the words, Kesenol and Chitazin. And what this is used for is you mix it in when you're all done, and what it does is it sort of, lack of a better word, it coagulates all the particles that are floating around and drops them to the bottom of the carboy, and then you can filter off the wine. So this is what's used at the very end to do that. So, and then they give you these handy dandy instructions. And at first, when they first came out, they were kind of difficult to read. And I think, let's see if I have, one side used to be, yep, one side's French and the other side's English. So I do the English side. So they go through, and you put in your values of the juice as it's fermenting. You write down your other values. Specific gravity. The specific gravity is the amount of sugar and alcohol that's in the wine itself. Use the hydrometer. It'll float higher or lower depending on the amount of each. And you're usually trying to get to a certain point, which is, let's see, degassing and clearing at 0.998 or lower. So that's what you're aiming for. And you usually want to start off with a specific gravity of near 1.052 or higher. So that just tells you have a lot of sugar, and then as the sugar goes out, it drops down to that other amount. So that's that, and then here is the wine. Actually, it's not wine, it's the juice. Comes in this pack. And so you take this, and we pour it into a big 6-gallon bucket, which has a spout on the bottom side, and they should do all your fermenting in there. You transfer them a couple times 2 or 3 times, and then eventually you drain out all the sediment out of all the items that you've dropped in here, you know, all the oak and all the other stuff that's come out through the little particulates, and you put it into a carboy. That's a clean, like a Sparklets bottle, and you let that ferment some more. It continues to settle over the next, I'd say 3 to 6 weeks. It'll continually settle, it'll continually do some more fermenting, and at some point at the very end, when you're satisfied and you like the smell and the flavor of it, you'll go ahead and stop the process by putting in your sulfites. Of course, yeah, potassium sorbate and metabisulfate. Those will stop that process. Otherwise, it'll continue to ferment in the bottle, and you'll get either it'll go bad or it'll turn into something like champagne, which I've never found favorable, palatable. So anyway, this is just a quick one on this. The next one, it'll be a while, because my wine lab is sort of being relocated to location undetermined at this time. This is what this particular wine kit has, and we'll get more on that later. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later. Remember to subscribe and tell your friends and comment, because that's important.